तत्कर्म यन्न बंधाय सा vidya ya vimuktaye. That alone is action which does not bind. That alone is knowledge that liberates. This was said thousands of years back. But what I didn't know, and now I realize that this shloka was spoken by Prahlad, a child to his own father, a 5-year-old boy standing in front of a mighty king, declaring that accumulation, acquisition, power, and conquest is not the purpose of knowledge, but it is liberation. But for me, what really struck me was the fact that thousands of years back, a child could say this, a 5-year child could say this. We can't imagine a child today thinking or articulating in this manner. So that tells a lot about the kind of upbringing and the kind of civilization we had then, and also says a lot about the kind of civilization we have created today. Namaskar. On behalf of the Adi Vidya Foundation, which is a public charitable trust, I invite all of you. Today, we have more than 350 educators, school leaders, IKS knowledge creators, psychologists, of course, spiritual leaders, people who believe that there should be some change in education. And the reason we have come here today is not because we need another conference or because you had to be here, because somewhere deep inside we feel that the present system is not working. And we are all looking for answers on how to make it work. So I want to share just one or two numbers with you, not to impress you with data, but just to bring a problem to the table. In India, we lose one student per hour to suicide. One student per hour. That's 24 students a day. That is one classroom of students every single day. Not because of poverty, of economic issues, or other socio-economic issues, but simply because of hopelessness and despair. And that is something that's really troubling me. Today we have Bade Bhaiya, who's the founder of Vidya Mandir classes, and Kota is supposed to be the holy grail. It's the Kashi of IIT coaching in India. And last year, 27 children in Kota died by suicide. These children had access to all the information. They had access to the best coaching institutions, the best schools. Their parents could afford to send them to the most venerated coaching institutions, spending lakhs of rupees. They had AI, they had smartphones, but yet this happened. I think it is very important for us to reflect on this. So why did this happen? A civilization like ours, whose origins are in the tradition of Aryabhat, of Chanakya, of Panini, of Sushruta, of Gargi, of Maitri, what have we done to this system? It is not out of ignorance. I think there is a larger conspiracy theory here. It is because of a deliberate design. We replaced the beautiful Gurukul system by a factory. An assembly line built by the British, who needed clerks, accountants, and functionaries. Not philosophers and thinkers for sure. A colonial power will never want that. And we have improved the system over the years. To this system, we've added beautiful schools with swimming pools and auditoriums. We've added smartphones, we've added technology, we've added e-learning, we've added all the frills. But one of the things that we didn't add was the fact that our system is not producing purposeful human beings. In a Gurukul, when the teacher enters the class, the Guru asks, Ko, hum, who am I? In a modern school, even the parent asks, what is your rank? Where are you in class? I think this is the fundamental issue. We've taught math, science, social studies, etc., etc. We haven't taught them how to breathe. We haven't taught them anything about the self or about the mind. And there is a huge distinction. And somewhere we have to bridge it. That's the reason we are here today. Because the Gurukul taught you Vivek, Vairagya, Shraddha, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sadhana. Today's school is not cultivating any of these for sure. All of you know, us know that. Today, we are cultivating anxiety, we are cultivating a sense of competition, we celebrate competition, a sense of comparison, and the terror of actually falling behind. So I think what we did was, we took out the Atma, the soul, but we kept the machine. And sometimes we wonder, why does this machine break down? And I think the problem is because in post-independence India, we first started by focusing on IQ. You remember all the IQ tests? I remember I used to give a lot of IQ tests when I was growing up in school. And it was supposed to be a big deal that you scored well in an IQ test. Somewhere along the line, IQ got replaced by EQ. So we said, no, IQ is great, but children need to be well-rounded as well. They need to know interpersonal skills. They need to be able to communicate very well. So the journey from IQ went to EQ. Every good school today talks about EQ, child-centered learning, all these beautiful fancy English words. But one of the most important quotients that we completely left behind was SQ. IQ makes you smart, EQ makes you a very likable person, but SQ makes you unbreakable. SQ asks you the important questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What will make me happy? What will make me content? What will make me satisfied? And I think that it's very important now, today, to start focusing back on a new quotient, not as a fad, but actually going back to our roots, and that is spiritual quotient. And the irony of all of this, as a country, as a nation, is that the West discovered all of this much before this conference is happening today on the 27th, 2026. I was recently in a conversation with Eton, with a team from Eton, which is so-called the most elite school in the world. And you'll be surprised to know they have a subject called Hindu studies, not even spiritual studies. They have a subject. You can look it up on Google. They have a subject called Hindu studies in Eton. And us, if we talk of the word Sanatan or we talk of the word spirituality, a lot of people want to stay away. How depressing this thought itself is. Google teaches mindfulness to their employees so that they can deal with stress. Even the US military, I believe, teaches breath regulation. Ammaji, they teach breath regulation to the soldiers. But we don't do it here. The University of Stanford now has a center called the Center for Excellence or Center for Compassion. Harvard is studying the neuroscience of yoga and publishing papers on that. But where did all of this come from? It came from Patanjali, it came from the Upanishads, it came from Yoga Sutra, it came from the Bhagavad Gita, it came from all the huge tradition in inner sciences that we built, we created. So this is our heritage, and I think it's time for us to reclaim it back. And therefore, a very humble beginning, we are planning and we are doing and we are moving forward in launching India's first spiritual science curriculum. Not as a workshop, not as Ganesh Vandana that you do when you do an annual day function in the school, not as dressing on a salad, but our ambition, our audacious ambition is for this to have the same status as math or social studies or science, the status of a subject. I believe that, or Think about it. Why can't a 6-year-old learn conscious breathing? Why can't a 10-year-old learn the basics of how the mind fluctuates all the time? This is what Patanjali called Chitta Vritti. Can a 14-year-old study ethical reasoning and dharma? Question to you. Think about it. Can a 17-year-old explore the nature of consciousness itself? How beautiful it would be if these were subjects that we interact, we transact in our classrooms. But unfortunately, this has not been done in India for the past 500 years. Before 500 years, I don't know. But since the time of the Mughals and the time of the British, we banished this from our curriculum. I think it's time to bring back a subject called the self. So therefore, all we are doing today in this conference is to solicit your guidance, your support, your hand holding in this journey. We are supporting a situation where the teacher in the classroom can tell a student, you are more than marks. You don't have to be captured by the anxiety that is gripping you. There is a light inside you. But I am going to give you techniques and tools to be able to help you find that light. In a classroom today, the teacher says, the first thing when you enter the class, okay, children, open your textbooks. But you were in a spiritual science class, the teacher would say, okay, children, close your eyes and go inward. I think that's really the difference that we want to create. Therefore, welcome today. I think we'll have a very, very interesting discussion. All of the people here are practitioners, people who deeply care about this subject and have the ability to do something about it. So thank you for being here today, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.